Hi, everyone. Once again, it's Rebecca Imholz with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. I hope you are doing well. Those of you who are watching this event live today, Monday with the Mayor, and those of you who are watching it as our recorded event. And I hope Shane Griffin, President of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce, I hope you're doing well, Shane. Hello.
Hey, Rebecca, all is well here. I hope same with you. Hopefully you had a good weekend. I worked some and relaxed the other bit of it. So it was a nice weekend on my end. Thankfully, a little bit of rest. So thank you for all you do, Rebecca, for helping us put on Monday with the Mayor. Thanks for all you do for the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce and helping us put on these events. And we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about today. So Rebecca, thank you. At this time, I'll welcome on Lauren Sims from the town of Mount Pleasant and also the Honorable Will Haynie. Mr. Mayor, Lauren, good to see you both.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
The mayor's there, evidently, but he's
yeah. Must have a slow startup on the camera.
I'm here. Hang on a second. I just hit the wrong button.
Gotcha. That's a work in progress. Lauren, I heard there was a new business opening up in Mount Pleasant today, one of your favorite delis, and there was a huge crowd there today, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about it. I have been begging Groucho's Deli to come to Mount Pleasant for years. I can tell you years. And so I have to stop there or drive to a different city, downtown, formerly West Ashley. And now I'm very happy to be able to support it in our own town. Groucho's Deli opened today. They had a soft opening at Queensboro Shopping Center. We went by, myself and some staff members, to grab lunch, and there was a crowd in there. So I was happy to see that and hope that they have continued success here in the town of Mount Pleasant.
That's awesome. It's great to hear that. There was a great crowd there, and it's also great to hear there's a Groucho's in Mount Pleasant now. So that's very exciting. I definitely will have to check that out. The mayor has joined us. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. It's always good to see your smiling face, sir. I hope you're well.
I'm doing well. I'm staying positive and testing negative. So what could be better in life, right?
I'm going to have to use that one.
That's a good one.
Stay positive and test negative. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Mayor, you had the one region meeting. You've got some interesting local economic data you'd like to share with us. I know you've got a lot of data, a lot of statistics, and wanted to spend some time on that information, sir.
Sure. I serve on the One Region Committee, which was formed. It's a partnership between the Regional Development Alliance, the Chamber, and the Medical University to get businesses safely reopened. And now we're looking at what's going on and what's happening. So the Medical University reported that in two very important areas that they monitor, and that's the growth in the number of cases and in the sustained reduction in cases, we are now green. This goes from red, yellow, orange, and green, or I forget which end orange is on. So this is the first time in a long time, and this has been a long, hard slug, from this, going all the way back to March. I think our first meeting was in April. So to see those two numbers green, this is wonderful news. You could feel the sigh of relief when the committee got those numbers. The Medical University attributes that to people taking social distancing very carefully. I went grocery shopping this weekend. I just out of habit, before I touch anything, when I come in from a public place, I go straight to the sink and wash my hands. It's just a new habit. And then the mask ordinances. They think the mask ordinances have helped. And this is our region. This is Charleston, Berkeley, and Dorchester County. So those were good. They asked us to keep on keeping on. I will tell you one thing that they have said, to add a little caution at the end of some good news, is epidemiology would suggest that heading into the expect a second wave. I'm confident that everywhere I go, I hope y'all see this. If you're in a checkout line in a retail store, you see people looking around for the dot to stand on. You don't see people clustering and then being told to social distance. I'm seeing Mount Pleasant people really taking that seriously. So let's hope that the cold weather doesn't bring a second wave like the one 100 years ago, where they went back to shutdown. There is no appetite at all at any level of government to do any kind of stay at home again, anything like that. So let's just keep doing these simple things and keep doing that. There was a lot of concern expressed from the medical university about young people that they keep getting pictures of and reports of, at popular night spots and things like that. And the epidemiologist that gave us this report said it's like playing Russian roulette and hoping for the best, because most young people that get COVID have a very mild case, but some, and he gave some examples, have organ failure, have other issues. So I know I'm preaching mostly to the choir here, but just because the death rate among younger people is very, very low does not mean there are not other severe complications. So good news on that. Good news on the COVID front. Economic news for our region. I'll just give them in the order that they gave them the other day. Even though unemployment is at 6.8% regionally, which is not a good number by what we're used to, the labor force itself is still 1% larger year over year than it was this time last year. I found that very So there is a larger labor force now than there was. Employment claims for our metro region did go down week over week. That was to last week. There are 14,869 jobs posted, job availabilities. Would you like to guess what the number one job is? There are 855 of these. Lauren, Shane, y'all want to guess? The number one available job in the metro region that if you are qualified that you can get right now. 855 openings. You're not going to be surprised.
I'd say a truck driver.
Registered nurses. What's that?
I wasn't going there. Yeah, I was going towards like logistics, supply chain.
Yeah, and I was thinking truck driver. And Mr. Mayor, we're having a little bit of a matchup issue. Your signal's not as strong.
Yeah.
So, we can understand you and hear you, but there's a little bit of a lag between answers and questions.
I'm seeing it too. That happens when I'm doing this from town hall, and that happens from here. I apologize for that. Good news, Charleston County consumer spending is up 19.3%. That's a good figure. Getting into August retail was down 5%. Getting into hospitality, hotel room nights are down 41%. But the hotel occupancy has hit 50% for the first time since June. And let me say this again. I know I sound like a broken record, and if you're a millennial, that's the old-fashioned vinyl that goes around. My children are, when I say broken record, they think, you mean like winning the gold? That the drop, especially in hospitality and hotels that happened in July, did not happen because of government action. It happened because people saw that there was a spike that happened because of the 4th of July and Memorial Day, and people voluntarily stayed away. That avoid as a region. So we're trying to avoid numbers getting out there that are bad. I saw today that the you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks. We don't want to be the people, I've done this before, paraphrasing Jimmy Buffett. We don't want to be the people that your parents warned you about. We want to be the people that don't quarantine when we travel other places on business. I wanted to go up and see my son and help him move, and he said, "Nice offer, Dad, but you'd have to quarantine." A lot of them aren't, and then a lot of them are putting up plexiglass between tables and booths. So let's do the things we can do to keep those numbers low so that people will want to come here. That consumer spending money being up 19.3%, that's really good. Let's keep going in that regard, and it'll be good for our regional economy. That's it in a nutshell on the economic data.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Like I say, we have some issues of matching you up and hearing all of the information, but we got the gist of it. It sounds like there's a lot of good news, a lot of things to be grateful for. We still have our work cut out for us, but overall things seem to be obviously trending in the right direction, both from a virus standpoint and from an economic standpoint. So thank you very much for sharing that information. What I'd like to do now is just kind of move along to, tomorrow's Tuesday, which means it's time for council. Wanted to get your thoughts on some of the things that will be covered in the council meeting tomorrow that may be of interest to our members.
Sure. Have our usual stuff that we're doing where we have buildings, developments, things that need to be changed. There's nothing highly controversial. Almost everything on there passed unanimously through our town committees. So we do those things like normal. One of the things we are doing, and I've already seen that there's some social media disinformation out there about, is when we had some recent controversial items on our agenda, we had some folks, we always have public comment. We had some folks show up and actually give someone else's address. We had a citizen contact us and say, that person who just address, they don't live there. And so when you speak at a public meeting, you are affecting the outcome of an action of the government. So just like you need an ID when you go to vote or to register to vote, at some period, I think it'll be after the first of the year, we're going to give plenty of lead up. You sign up to speak, everybody can still speak, doesn't matter where you live, where you're from, but we just want verification whether you're a Mount Pleasant resident or not. It does not mean we're restricting speaking only to Mount Pleasant residents, but we don't want people lying at the expense of our constituents by trying to influence an act of local government. So if you see other stuff that we're shutting down public comment, or we got one email that that I was setting it up to where I have sole discretion over public comment. Y'all, I mean, come on, this is Mount Pleasant. We don't do things that way. So don't believe it if you see that stuff, but that's on there. Think, show us an ID or show us a power bill or something. I'm really, Joe Smith, and I really live at 123 Palmetto Street or whatever. Nothing wrong with that. Truth in government, let's be transparent. One item we're going to talk about that our recreation committee talked about, the possibility of a Christmas parade. Found out today from that state executive order to I'll give you an example. My wife teaches at Jenny Moore. When their fifth graders graduated to go to middle school, the teacher stood on the sidewalk and the families drove through with their child in the car, and they were cheered and everything. So one possibility is having a parade that people drive by the parade where you stay on your own car. Think about the big movies that we have at the old Miller Cadillac and at Patriots Point. Another idea that the town administrator put out there is that we could send a mobile parade of police and fire and some other cool things through the neighborhoods of town where you watch it from the safety of your own front yard. So again, we go back to abiding by the governor's executive order that says you have to have masks. Everyone has to have masks. So there's a challenge right there. That you have to have social distancing and all of that because it is a gathering under the executive order. So there will be some discussion, probably. Let's come back in November and look at different ideas. We would all love to have something about Christmas. I'm thinking, something like the Christmas Light Festival over at James Island County Park that's been there for 20-something years, where you stay in your car and drive through. But what we don't want is mass exposure of our staff and police and everything like that. So if we do something, it'll be a happy Christmas thing. It's probably not going to be the usual type thing for Christmas. That's on the agenda. So if you want to tune in and watch on our YouTube channel, you can watch us discussing things like that.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, could you mute? I'm going to ask Lauren some questions. I just would like for you to mute because you've got some feedback that's coming through, and every time your mic is open, that sound, that hiss that we're hearing interrupts Lauren when she speaks. So if you don't mind, sir, doing that, I would appreciate it. Excellent. And Lauren, we caught most of what the mayor said about parades, and anything you wanted to add to that, just so that we can kind of button that up, make sure that the members get all the information there.
Sure. Just 2 points. So the first part, Mayor was explaining kind of where the concern came from and some of the misinformation that's already out there on social media in particular about one of the agenda items. And that arose from a specific situation where someone gave a false address when they were previously addressing council. And council was made aware of it when the person who actually resides at that address contacted council and said, that's my address. That person does not live at my household. They were speaking on behalf of my household, and that we don't even know who they are. So that is the reasoning behind that. And mayor does not have sole discretion over making decisions about public comment or shutting down public comment or anything of that nature. That's not the intent behind it. It's to make sure that when folks are addressing the council, that honest information is provided because that information is used in council's decision-making process. And then the second part was discussion about the annual Christmas light parade. It's a tradition that we all love and hold very near and dear to our hearts. Obviously, this year, our recreation department is looking at some alternatives for it. The mayor was briefed by legal counsel that based on the governor's executive order, a parade is specifically called out and requires enforcement of a local municipality to enforce the mask provision. So that would mean our police department would have to go through and actually make sure that everybody's wearing masks and, it would be a different than what we're used to. So council is going to be working with the recreation department to review some alternatives for this year. And I think you caught some of them, drive-throughs, or we would bring the parade to you or something of that nature. So they're still looking at some options there to make sure that we still have something for the Christmas season, but it's not going to be the full annual parade that Mount Pleasant residents are used to. So that was just a recap of some of the points Mayor was making and to make sure that the accurate information is out there.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Lauren. I want to move on to the October 14th virtual event that the town and the chamber is putting together jointly. How to do business with the town, doing business with the town, happening on the 14th at noon. For folks that are watching here today or watching at a later time, give us some information about what that event is, what folks can expect, and then how they can be a part of it.
Absolutely. We're very excited to be putting on this event. Sponsored by the chamber. This is a lot of great information and information that is requested from the town quite often. So it's a free and open event to everyone. I know Tamara sent out a link to it and it's on the calendar. All you would have to do is click the link at the time. It would be 12 o'clock on Wednesday the 14th. And it'll take you to a live Teams event. You'll see myself and some other members of town staff. And we're going to be talking specifically about how to do business in the town. You're just, general business, you want to open a business, you want to make sure you're doing everything correctly, business license, taxes, impact fees, all of that information. We'll be covering that. And then if you want to do business with the town, so if you want to be a vendor where we procure our products from, if you would like to join the local vendor partnership program, register on our online portal to receive bid notices from the town, we'll walk through those steps as well. We're also going to talk a little bit about our town support programs is what we call them. So things like offerings and our Town Proud program. And lastly, we're going to be talking a little bit about the impact of COVID-19 on the town's budget and kind of the plan that the council has heard from administration and is moving forward with in terms of kind of milestones and triggers that we're looking at for the budget and things that were deferred to review at a later date to make sure that all the necessary parts of the budget, not that there are any that are, extenuous or anything of that nature, but some of our revenue sources, we just don't know if they'll be there. You mentioned the hotel night stays. We don't know if those funds will be there to turn around and reimburse those in terms of grants to the community. So some other pieces to look at. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please join us at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, October 14th, virtually. It'll be a quick presentation and we're going to open it up for questions from the audience. You can either send them to Rebecca ahead of time or you'll be able to send them to us in the chat function during the event.
Great, thank you, Lauren. Should be a lot of great information, and we're looking forward to partnering with you guys at the town and putting on this great virtual event. A lot of great information, and obviously you get some answers on how to do business in the town and with the town. So thanks for that. Well, that's all I have for today, Mr. Mayor. Any parting words from you, sir, today?
I just I hope my audio is working better now. I made some adjustments. But I appreciate everybody. These numbers are looking much better for Mount Pleasant, and I know the businesses are working on it. And nobody likes wearing masks. I sure don't like, not shaking hands or giving people hugs. But let's keeping on, and let's not lose focus of getting open and staying open, and then having the reputation for being a safe place to come and spend money is what we're after. And I hope we've done our part at the town on that, but we're trying to help our businesses do the best they can. And I see people really, really working hard at it. And I just want to thank everybody for that.
We've come so far. It's not a point now where we want to go backwards. So continue to do the things you're supposed to be doing: social distance, masks, washing your hands, staying away from large crowds, all of those things. And we'll get through this as a community together. So with that being said, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your time, sir. I know you're very busy, and you take time out of your busy Monday every week for us, and we thank you very much for that. Same to you, Lauren. All the great information that you provide us and our members, we can't thank you enough for your support and for the time that you take. So always great to see you. This has been Monday with the Mayor, presented by the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. We will be back here next Monday for another exciting edition of Monday with the Mayor, with Mr. Will Haynie and with Lauren Sims. So with that said, as always, be safe, stay healthy, and keep moving forward. And also stay positive and test negative. See you later.
You're good. Bye-bye.